every stride,
every leap,
every push, every second I press on in a race.
not for trophy or medal or the fading praise of men,
but for an imperishable crown.
Adorned with more than just uniform and pads, I stand equipped.
I stand equipped with the whole armor of God.
I am not just an athlete.
I am called and commissioned to be the hands and feet of Christ.
And with the strength and endurance I've been given, I will serve Him.
Carrying the torch given by those who came before, I will keep the pace for those who will come after.
Together with my brothers and sisters,
I will run with endurance the race that is set before us, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith.
You know, with FCA, what we don't want to do is we just don't want to see people just raise their hands and say, yes, I would like to accept Christ. We want people to become disciples. The Bible says in 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 2, to entrust these things to reliable people who will also, in return, be able to teach others also. That's what we want to do. We want to see discipleship laid out on this campus.
I'm Scott Long, and I grew up in the church. Grew up hearing about Jesus, hearing the story of Jesus, and it was something that I believed in, but never really had much of an impact on my life. Still kind of just lived for myself, lived for the world. I had a Bible, but never really read it. I had some verses that I kind of knew about, and even verses that I wrote on my cleats, as if that were going to make me run faster or jump higher or something. Played football at the University of Louisville, was a wide receiver here. So I had seen Chris around the football facility. He was here all the time, and even heard him speak in chapel a couple times. But it wasn't until 2006 I had gotten into some trouble with some of my teammates, out doing some things I shouldn't have been doing.
Scott had been in an incident where he and another teammate were going around campus shooting individuals with a paintball gun. I remember Scott was arrested, and a couple days later I saw Scott in the weight room.
And it was kind of in the wake of that, I remember being in the weight room and Chris coming up to me and just engaging me, putting his arm around me and loving on me, encouraging me, but also challenging me.
I said, Scott, whenever you quit running from the purpose and the plan that God has for you, He's going to put you right where He wants you, and He's going to do immeasurably more than you can hope or imagine.
That's really where it began, just an invitation and a challenge for me to come and see what it was all about.
And what that started from that moment on was just a friendship for me and Scott, because Scott never had anybody in his life that would hold him accountable and really tell him the hard truths in his life.
Started coming to FCA and really started to hear the gospel of Christ in a very clear way. Some of the things that I kind of knew in theory, knew the facts about, started to hear in fresh ways.
You know the phrase that says, if you give a person a fish, he'll eat for a day. But if you teach a person how to fish, he'll eat for the rest of his life. The turning point in Scott Long's life is when he came to me and he said that he would like to be discipled. The word disciple means to pour in. And that's what we want to do. And I saw Scott Long's eyes just kind of light up.
he said, well, I got a group for you. And it was the entire football team. And so he wanted me to lead my team in a study, in a devotion. And we would meet once a week, and he would kind of show me what I should say, what I should teach about, and kind of make it my own. And then I'd stand up and lead those guys. And that just kind of charged me to want to do that, commit my life to just pouring into people, making disciples. A little bit before Brock comes up and brings the house down this morning. But currently, I work with FCA full time, so it's kind of come full circle. Came to really know Jesus through FCA, grow as a disciple and a disciple maker. 70% of what I do is meeting with coaches, one-on-one, doing coaches ministry, talking to them about their need for Christ and what it looks like to use their platform for His glory, and then training and appointing chaplains to go into work with these high school and middle school teams. And so that's what I do full-time now with FCA.
I guess the neat thing about discipleship is seeing where Scott Long was to now seeing where he's at now. That's what the discipleship process looks like. It's been a neat journey watching this thing come full circle. And now Scott is actually getting people involved with FCA, teaching them what it's like to become a disciple of Christ. You know, I remember when Kelsey Worrell was being recruited out of high school, and I remember her sitting down in the natatorium, and one of the first things that Kelsey asked about is, what is the Christian climate of this campus? I got an opportunity to just kind of brag on what God is doing through the ministry of FCA.
Well, I grew up in a Christian home and went to the same church all growing up, was involved in Sunday school, camps every summer, church on Sunday nights, went to a private school in middle school, and I think I was around 6 or 7 when I gave my life to Jesus. And it's just been a journey ever since, growing and learning more about Him day after day.
Kelsey Worrell's been a great example. You know, she broke 2 records just a few weeks ago on the 50-meter fly and the 100-meter fly. And the fact of the matter is, you'll never hear Kelsey talk about that because that's just who she is. That speaks to her humility. And she is an incredible talent in the pool. But watching her outside the pool and watching the way that she loves her teammates and comes alongside her teammates and the humility that she models every single day is something that we're just really grateful to be a part of.
We swim around 20 hours a week, and I'm around these 30 girls that are my teammates every day. They voted me a captain this year, and that's just been a huge role. I love leading them and being with them, but it's a lot of responsibility. My freshman year, I had a great year in the pool, but after the season was over, I ended up having an ankle sprain. It was just a reminder that swimming is God's gift, and I decided to get Luke 12:22-31 on my foot, the same one that was sprained earlier that year. And every time I step up on the block, it's just a reminder that if we are made in His image, then He's really going to take care of us. That has opened up a few doors where other swimmers have asked me about that verse, and I've met girls where we've got to pray before the finals at NCAAs, and it's just been incredible how God has used that, and I'm looking forward to starting many more conversations.
There's a lot of times when a young man comes on this campus without a father, without somebody that can really pour into them. Not only teach them football or basketball or baseball, but to kind of teach them what it's like to be a man. With FCA, we get a chance to be part of that, not only just help them with becoming a man, but to being a godly man. It's great to see numbers of athletes understand, and not only understand that concept, but to be part of that and embrace that.
Well, my name is Aaron Epps. I'm a senior here at the University of Louisville. I play football. My position is offensive tackle. I got into FCA probably around my sophomore year. When I first got here, I was kind of nervous. We didn't really know anybody. I kind of stayed to myself, and I didn't really want to talk to anyone. And as a freshman, we were always in study hall late. So when I came out of study hall, we always saw like the small groups. The only thing I seen people, when you go, you see other athletes going through the same thing. Everybody has something going on, and it's not okay to keep it balled up. When Chris told me, like, he just sent out a text message. And he was like, if you ever need something, just let me pray for you. It was February 20th, 2013. I was sitting in class waiting. I got a message that was like, is your mom okay? And I was like, yeah, she's fine. Like, what do you mean? I was just on the phone with her last night. And I ended up coming out, picking up the phone. They told me, like, you have a plane ticket, like, your mom's sick. So I'm like, okay. And I ended up flying to Columbia, South Carolina, where she was at. I walk in, and they pulled back the curtain for where she was at, and I just see her, like, just laying there. And I'm like, I told my aunt, I'm like, that's not my mother. Like, I don't know who that is in that bed. Like, that can't be my mother. Like, I was just on the phone with her last night. It can't be this serious, this fast. The doctor came out and they were like, we're gonna have a priest or someone come in and pray for you guys. I'm like, no. Like, let me call Chris. Like, all due respect, sir, let me call Chris. Like, I know someone that can pray for her right now.
There was one instance when Aaron called me from the hospital that his mother had taken a turn for the worse. And I remember just praying with Aaron on the phone, and the next thing is kind of what touched my heart, is when Aaron said, Chris, would you pray with my mother?
The only thing that was keeping her basically alive was the machine she was on. And I put the phone to her ear.
And I could just hear in the background say, okay, Chris, you can start. And I just remember praying with his mother on the phone. And I prayed for just a couple minutes.
I could just hear Chris talking, and I couldn't really see what was going on the other side of the bed for where she was at, but all I knew was the doctor, he backed up and he was like, whoa. And my aunt, and she backed up too, and I'm like, what's going on? And he was like, she just balled her fist up, like she just moved her hand. And he was like, we haven't had any signs for the past 14 hours. And I'm like, thank you. It was just like a big relief. And I was just sitting there, and I got back on the phone with Chris. I'm like, I don't know what you said, but whatever it was, it worked. I'm like, just please, just keep praying, just keep praying.
From that moment on, his mother started to get better. And I praise God just for allowing me the opportunity just to be able to pray with Aaron, to not only just be a chaplain for the football team or even Aaron, but to be a chaplain for families. It's great to see the transformation that God has started, and not only started, but now completing in the life of Aaron Epps. You know, Aaron is part of our chapels. It's great to see him in his Bible and growing, even with this, sharing his life, just sharing his testimony of what God is doing in his life. Not only his life, but his mother's life, his family's life. So just one instance of a prayer in a hospital room has changed to now wanting to be discipled. That's something special to us.